Hello everybody, my name is the almightyzentaco and I'm here to bring you another installation of how to make a simple platform game in Clickteam Fusion 2.5. If you don't know what Clickteam Fusion 2.5 is, you need to read up on that. I'm not going to talk about it again. I did a little bit last time. This is the second video, so if you haven't watched the first video, you should watch that, so we're all on the same page. So if you have watched the first video, then please follow along. First thing we are going to do is open our previous file. I called it platform tutorial, because that's what it is, platform tutorial. So let's go ahead and run it and see what we had going on. Okay, so yeah, if you remember correctly, our guy would move left and right with X. With arrow keys, he would jump with X. You can tap it for a small jump or hold it in for a really large jump. He's kind of slow, so we're going to speed him up because that's annoying. On this video, actually, if you don't remember how to do that, you can change any of the startup variables for the platform movement object simply by clicking onto it. So we're going to do that now. We're going to change his max X velocity to something like 250, just so it's faster. Okay, so for this video, we're going to add scrolling. And if we have time, we're going to add some animation and show you how to connect animation to various player states so that it'll mirror what he is doing in the world. And we're going to add some simple collectibles. So the first thing we need to do is we need to expand the size of our frame because our frame is simply the size of our window. So there is no scrolling possible. You can only scroll inside the frame. So we need to make the frame bigger. So we can do that by clicking on the frame here, our frame 1. Go down into the Properties tab, and we are going to just make it 10 times bigger. Add a 0 to the 640, so that's 6400, and it got really long. That'd be like a Mario game. The original Mario didn't have a lot of upward momentum or movement. But we want to test the X and the Y scrolling, so we're going to add 10. We're going to multiply by 10 as well on the Y axis, excuse me. Okay, so let's give that a test. Yeah, so okay, same as before, nothing's happening. So we need to go into our event editor and add some scrolling functions. We're going to make it simple. First thing we need to do is add a comment because comments are awesome. Actually, let's just copy our old comment so we have all the color and font. We're going to call this scrolling. Super simple scrolling. Yeah, this is going to be really simple scrolling. You can scroll very complex. You can make smooth scrolling. You can have all kinds of interesting things happen. We're not going to do any of that. We're just going to make it very, very simple and straightforward because we're going to keep this easy. So the easiest thing you can do is simply have it so that always, and then we click on our storyboard controls. That's where the scrolling function is at, and we can click on scrolling. And there's a couple things we can do. We can center the entire window position relative to an X and Y coordinate, so we could stick it to our player object and it'll move with our player. But the problem with that is it would just be centered on the player completely. So if most games you don't want your on platformers, you probably don't want your guy in the straight center of the screen. That's not ideal. So we're probably not going to do that, but we're going to test it at first. So let's go ahead for now. Click on center window position and frame. We're not going to just, you could center it at an X and Y. You can type that in here, but we're going to do it relative. So it'll constantly update to our player object. Now we need to go back to the frame, and we're going to need to extend our level a bit. So let's open this up and just paint some more floor. Click on our backdrop. Oops. Click on the backdrop, and here we go. Add some stuff to jump over so it's a little more interesting. Maybe a ceiling. Dude, it looks like Metroid. Yeah. Alright. I don't know if you guys ever played Metroid. If you've never played Metroid, I absolutely recommend you go play Metroid because Metroid is incredible. Alright, let's test this out. Run application. Boom. Now you see what I'm saying? Our guy is flat dead right in the middle of the screen, which is not ideal. You usually don't need to see that far below you, and you probably want to see more in front of you, but that's completely up to you. This is your game, so you can set these parameters any way you want. But this is how you just center the scrolling. As you see, it scrolls, it works, it's fine, it works. So if that's all you want, you can just call it done. But we're going to actually I'm going to show you how to do a little more complex scrolling. So let's delete this here. So we're going to say always scrolling, center the horizontal position window in frame. and we're going to make that, you can make anything you want. We're going to make that the position horizontal. I'll make it his X coordinate. And then we're going to click on scrolling, center vertical position in frame. And we don't want to see that far below us, so we're going to make this his Y coordinate. And we're going to add, no, we're going to subtract, I think. Oh, crud. I just minimized that. We're going to subtract, I think 150 will do us just fine. That should work. I might need to add it. Let's see. Nope, that's fine. That's what we want. It's maybe a little far down there. But yeah, we're going to make that less. I don't like that. Edit. You can at any time just click edit and then select your parameter. We want to do the Y coordinate, and we're going to make it 100. So now it won't be, we'll see less below us, but yeah, there. I like that. I think that's good. That's a nice place. So we're going to leave it like that. There's also a smooth scrolling you can do, but that's much more complicated. And honestly, you might want to see further in front of the guy. So you can also do scrolling dependent on the X, on which way he's facing, so that there's more screen in front of you at all times. I'll show you how to do that real quick. So let's delete the X. So now we just have the scrolling for the Y. So we're going to say not always. We're going to ask which direction he is facing. Wait, do we ever flip his direction? We don't. We're going to need to give him an extra direction so we can ask which direction he is facing. So we're going to do that. See, he's right now, this animation, this is the animation editor, by the way. I don't think I've shown you that. Right now, he just has one direction. So we're going to add another one. You can have more directions than these. You can keep adding them by pulling this bar here. We don't need that many directions. That is a lot of directions. We are fine with 4. So right now only the right direction is activated. If we click on this box, it'll add a left direction. We copied the sprite, so we're going to paste him in here. And there we go. So now we need to make sure that whenever we're pressing right, we are setting his direction. Select direction. We're going to make sure he's going right. And when we are holding in left, we are going to change the direction so that he is facing left. Now you won't see visually which direction he's facing because it's the same sprite, which will probably be different in your game. But for this game, the guy is just looking forward. So we're not going to be able to tell, but it doesn't matter because there are 2 directions. So we're going to ask if he is facing, if his direction is right. Then we're going to want to have more space in front of him to the right. So we will have the scrolling, center horizontal position in frame to his X coordinate, and let's add 100. Then we're going to copy this event, paste it, double click on it to edit it, change it so that we're asking if he's facing left, double click on this to edit it, and we just need to make this subtraction. No, that is multiplication. There we go. All right, let's test this out. I might have broken this irreparably. Oh God, that's bad. That is terrible. Okay, so I don't really recommend doing this. This is pretty awful. That jump is really jarring. For something like this, you would probably want to have a smooth scrolling. I didn't anticipate it looking that bad. I wonder if it would be that bad if I just made it less of a jump. Let's try that. Let's click edit. 50. We'll make this one 50 as well, just in the other direction. Okay, that is just terrible. No, we're not doing that. We're scrapping it. Forget I said anything. I mean, it works, but it's not good. You can do this, but you're going to need to have smooth scrolling, for which you would really want to create a camera object and then have the camera object follow the player and then have the scrolling center on the camera object, and you just have the camera object get to him slower. Don't have it move as fast as he does, and that'll really create a nice smooth effect. It's kind of complicated, and I'll show you how to do that probably in another video. So we're going to go back to this event and add the scrolling again for the horizontal, and we're just going to make that the player's X position. Let's test it and see if that looks like crap. Nope, back to what we had before. Okay, so with that, let's save it. And now we're going to add some animations. So this is the stopped animation. We need to have a walking animation. Let's redo our guy. I mean, you know, he was a stand-in anyway, so let's delete him. We're going to make this extremely simple. I don't want to waste time being complicated. But to show animation, we are going to need to add some legs or arms or something. So he's just going to have a round head. We'll paint it in. Give him a round body. Paint it in. And we're going to give him some really simple legs. And paint those in. And let's add some black for the eyeballs. And a little frown. He's not happy. He's an unhappy guy. Okay, there's our unhappy dude. He's stopped. Let's loop the stopped animation. Copy it. Paste it for this one. Get rid of that. That's done. We're done with that thing. He's gone. And we're going to click this button here to flip it because we want him to be facing, obviously, the left if he is facing left. So, also, we're going to loop that. Now we need to have a walking animation. So, let's copy the frame. We're going to make this a 2-frame walking animation. Really, really simple stuff. We're just going to grab one of his legs and lift it up. And then alternate that. That's all we're going to do. Then we're going to copy both of these, loop it. 50 is probably super high. Let's make that more like 25. Because we only have 2 frames. We don't want them to be spazzing out there. Now we need to paste this. Paste our sprites into the left direction. I didn't copy them apparently. So let's go back to the right. Frames. Copy them. Paste. Okay, flip them both over. Change the direction options back to a loop and 25. Okay, now we're going to need a jumping animation. We're only going to need one. We're just going to make 1 frame for jumping. That's the simplest jump you can have. So delete frame number 2. And for the jump, we're just going to stick his legs outward. Okay. We're also going to make this be the falling animation. It's fine. You won't really notice. Let's make him happier when he jumps, just because why not? A little change of expression, or at least excited. Ooh, he's like, ooh, goodness. Whoa, I'm jumping. Whoa, golly gee golly. Give him some white teeth, maybe. Okay, now that looks terrible. Let's get rid of that tooth. All right, make sure you loop it. Otherwise, it'll only play it for 1 frame, and then it'll go away. So loop this. Loop this. Other direction. Loop it. Okay. So now we have our dude, and we need to animate him. So let's put down a comment. And let's call this animations. So we're going to say player state, object state, object is standing on ground, insert, repeat while the right arrow is pressed. You know what? Easiest thing to do, honestly, would just be to add the animation to the input. I mean, we would essentially be copying this event here. So just while you're holding the right arrow, gonna right click on this and add animation. Change animation sequence to walking. Same here, animation. Change animation sequence to walking. So now he should animate to walking when you're holding left and right. We also, though, need to reset to the idle animation, so we will put that down here. We will say object state, object is standing on ground, add another one, object state, object is moving, and we're going to negate that, effectively asking saying is the player not moving and is he standing on the ground. If this is true, then we will change the animation to stopped. Then we're going to ask another event. We're going to say is the player jumping. If he is jumping, we're changing his animation to jumping. Copy this event, paste it, double click to change it, or which actually we need to replace it. Object state, falling. If he's falling, we also want to play the jumping animation. Let's give it a test. Ooh. Oh, whatever. All right, so we got our jump animation. He changes directions. As you see, he's kind of bouncing on the ground. The reason he's doing that is because we changed the collision. The collision with this character, this sprite, is not based on his bounding box. It's based on his actual sprite. So we need to edit that. We need to click on our dude and go to the properties here and see it says use fine detection. Fine detection will be like pixel perfect collision. We don't want that. We want to have collision just with his box, which is going to be 32 by 32. He shouldn't be bouncing around like a goober anymore. Yep. All right. There's our dude. Look at him go. Whee! Woohoo! And you can see, so he can turn left and right. He has the walking animation. He stops when you stop moving. If you press jump, he has the jumping animation. And when he falls, here, I'll show you, he has a falling animation, which is also a jumping animation. With the platform movement object, it considers jumping to be anytime you were holding in the jump button and you were going up. As soon as you start going down, that's considered falling. So that would trigger a different animation if you had that at after the apex of your jump. So let's save our file. And let's add some collectibles. We're going to make them an active object. I'm going to change the picture because I hate this picture. We'll just make it something basic. I don't know, like a star or something. Or a coin. A coin's probably good. Let's make it a coin. Yeah, okay. This is some bad art. Coin, it's money. Okay, this is money. Oh, that looks so horrible. No, I'm sorry, I can't do it. That just didn't look good enough. We're gonna make a star, because that was bugging me. Doesn't have to be great, but that was really bad. Okay, this is pretty bad too. Let's paint it. Let's change the color to yellow. Oh, whoops. There we go. We got a star. Star. Let's, yeah. Okay, so our action point and our hotspot are fine. They're in the center. That'll affect how we scroll it. Let's change the name of it, or like spin it and move it around and change the scale. All right, we're going to call this collectible. I can't spell, I know. Let's add a bunch of them. You can just hold in control and drag it and you can copy it. It's the exact same object. So these are clones, these are duplicates. Okay, now we need to say collectible. So let's put down a comment. Collectibles. I'm not sure that I'm spelling that correctly. Okay, for this we're going to ask if the player object is colliding with another object. So if he collides with another object, that object is our collectible. Then we are going to destroy our collectible. This may destroy all of them. Let's find out. Nope. Okay, good. Pink. Now that effectively doesn't do anything. I mean, we're not adding anything. We're not actually collecting anything. We're just destroying it. So right now it's just kind of an illusion. So what we could do is click on our player object, go on over to the values tab, add a new value. We're going to call it collectibles or stars. How many stars do we have? We start with 0. So whenever he collides with a star, we are going to alterable value. We are going to add to. We're going to add 1 to stars. Now, we need to let the player know that is something that is happening. So we're going to need to add another object, and we are going to add something called a counter. Where is the counter? There it is, counter object. Drop it here. It's black. That is not what we want. We need this to be white. So we're just going to paint all of these numbers real quick. You can replace all of this with better art. The default art for the counter object is kind of terrible. And that's really easy to do. I can show you that later. We're not going to need the negative, the plus, or the E, or the point. So now it's white. I can't remember if that's going to follow the frame. Yep, okay, it follows the frame. By default, counter objects follow the frame. You can click on them and change that if you need to. Where is this at? See, if you click follow the frame, then it's going to stay in place. If it's not following the frame, then it's just going to be sort of like a HUD object. Okay, so we also need to have it so that always, we need to make it so that that counter reflects. Let's change the name of it. So that counter reflects how many stars we have. So change the name of this to counter stars. And always set counter stars. Set counter to, and we are going to set it to the alterable value stars. Okay, so you see now we have 0 stars, 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars, and so on and so forth. We can now collect stars. They don't actually do anything, but you know, you can make them do whatever you want. I mean, we could destroy our player when we get to 10 stars. We could end the game. You could win the game. It could give you more time. I don't know, whatever. The sky's the limit. No. Okay. And you see now that we made him a little faster, he can now get to this platform here. All right, that's probably all the time we have for this video. So hopefully that was educational for you guys. If you did enjoy it, then please like it and comment and maybe subscribe and maybe watch some more. I hope that I helped you to learn how to make a simple platform game. There's another tutorial coming. We're going to add even more stuff. Maybe show, I'm not exactly sure yet what we're going to put into it, but it should be good. There's a lot of places we can go with this, and I'm going to probably spend some time doing some better art and plug it in off time here. I won't do it on the camera. And we're also going to add some sound effects probably next time. So with that in mind, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time. Adios.